Yo, what's going on, guys? Crispy Flakes here. So for today's video, we have each NBA team's biggest disappointment so far in this early NBA season. Early-ish, I suppose. It's almost a halfway point at this point when this video was made and everything. So as we go through all these NBA teams right here, guys, I'm going to give you guys my thoughts and opinions on the ones listed here. This is an article by Colin Ward Henninger, I believe is how you say that. Also, guys, I want to know from the comment section below, I want to know your guys' thoughts on your favorite team and really just all these in general. A lot of you guys really do like these type of podcasty type of videos where I just kind of talk about some basketball. So here we go. Each NBA team's biggest disappointment. So I already see Markelle Fultz here on the cover. So I got a pretty good idea of what, Philadelphia's probably is. But here we go, guys. First, we have the Atlanta Hawks. The biggest disappointment being Dennis Schroeder. I don't know how I feel about that because, like, I've heard rumors of the Hawks actually shopping this man away. They're saying that he plays really bad defense. It's been quite a few weeks, probably closer to, like, maybe a month since I last checked. But when I did check, as far as, like, Eastern Conference point guards go, I believe as far as, like, plus minus or something like that, Dennis Schroeder was actually listed #1 in the Eastern Conference. So that's kind of interesting. But at the same time, if you don't play defense, I mean, you can find scoring out there. There's lots of guards out there that can score the basketball. You also have to bring it defensively, especially the amount of money this man is making. So, okay, that is pretty disappointing. Next up, we have Boston Celtics' biggest disappointment, Gordon Hayward's injury. Yes. So their biggest, I mean, come on. They're like, well, like #1 seed in the Eastern Conference. How many disappointing things could happen to them? But literally within the first 5 seconds of the regular season, this man went down with injury. But at the same time, while this is a disappointment, I think Celtic fans need to realize just how good of a team they have. Like, the fact that they are still doing this well without their $128 million small forward that they just signed says a lot about the character of that team. I definitely respect the Boston Celtics team for that. Just like guys like Jaylen Brown and Jason Tatum just going out there as young players in the NBA and really just making a big difference. Next up, we have the Brooklyn Nets. The biggest disappointment, injuries to both D'Angelo Russell and Jeremy Lin. Okay, so of course, I'm always being devil's advocate and stuff, but yes, both these guys did go down with injury, but let's think about this. With those guys getting injured, who did it free up minutes to play? Spencer Dinwiddie. This dude's been an absolute beast for the Brooklyn Nets, so I guess, like, maybe I'm a half-glass full type of guy sometimes. In this case, I think that's one of the things you got to look at. Spencer Dinwiddie looking like he could be a starter for that team for many, many years, the way he's been playing basketball. All right, next we have the Charlotte Hornets, Frank Kaminsky. Yeah, I mean, I remember this dude coming out of college. I believe he went to Wisconsin and everything. And it says so far he's been wildly inefficient, shooting just over 40% from the field in total and in the low 30s on three-pointers. So this guy, like, came out of Wisconsin with the idea of being, like, a stretch 4 or stretch 5 player in the NBA. Like, if you're shooting low 30s, to me, that shows that you should not be shooting three-pointers. Like, you just should stop shooting them, or you should work on them in practice, something like that. And I know, like, it says what? It says, with Kaminsky on the court, and his offense hasn't come anywhere close to making up for it. Yeah, so it looks like his defense isn't very good either. If you're not bringing the offense to the stretch 4, then you're kind of useless. Next up, Chicago Bulls, biggest disappointment, Cristiano Felicio. They gave this dude a $32 million bitch-ass contract? Come on, 2K. Okay, that's not... Okay, I'm sorry, not 2K. Come on, Garpax, or whatever the little duo is over there that's making, L's or whatever it is. Yeah, that would be disappointing given they got that much money. See, but the thing I don't understand about that is why do NBA, like, owners and GMs invest in these type of players when they have not proven anything yet? Like, why? Like, that's a disappointment in itself. It's like throwing money at guys that do not warrant that type of cash at this point in their career. All right, Cleveland Cavaliers, biggest disappointment, Derrick Rose. I will say, like, now that Isaiah Thomas is back, this is not as big of a disappointment. But at the same time, for $2.1 million, I'm not quite sure what people were expecting out of Derrick Rose. Like, they kind of knew where he was mentally as a player and kind of what type of player he was. I mean, even in his 7 games for Cleveland, he was averaging like 17 or 18 points per game and a few assists. I still think that this man has a chance to come back and play some really nice basketball for the Cavaliers. And who knows, man, like, maybe even be like a backup point guard on the team because as of right now, Dwayne Wade is kind of running that backup point guard show. And, of course, they got Jose Calderon. I think he could definitely be more useful than Jose Calderon. The only issue is that, can he play in the backcourt off the bench with Dwayne Wade? That's just, like, not a lot of spacing out there, so that definitely has issues going forward. All right, Dallas Mavericks, biggest disappointment, Nerlens Noel. This dude is, I don't know why he's called Noel. We should be calling this man Nerlens all the L's. Like, you had your little, thing going on in Philadelphia where you just was not playing a lot, so you wanted to go to a different team. That's fair. I understand that. You were like top 4 or 5 pick in the NBA draft that you were in. Went to the Dallas Mavericks, was completely given the opportunity to get a lot of minutes on a team that was in rebuild mode. Like, you had a chance to shine and show that you are a great basketball player, but he just hasn't done that. I know Rick Carlisle pretty much said that this dude has like a lack of work ethic out there. So if you're not putting in the work yourself, what can you expect? Like, nobody's gonna do it for you. That's definitely a huge disappointment. All right, Denver Nuggets, Emmanuel Mudiay. So I know, it says that he's lost his starting job to Jamal Murray. I know Jamal Murray's been a great player on this team. Like, he's been a nice combo guard for the Denver Nuggets. As far as Emmanuel Mudiay, I've not really followed his career all that much. It says that he is shooting better on three-pointers, but his overall field goal percentage has been atrocious. So what that tells me is probably, getting to the basket and, finishing. I know Lonzo Ball was having trouble with that, so maybe Emmanuel Mudiay is having similar things where he can, knock down the open shot, but as soon as there's, a little ounce of pressure on him, it's a GG for him. All right, my Detroit Pistons. Yes! Get Benji over here! I gotta call it. I'm sorry, guys. I can't stand Stanley Johnson. It rhymes! Bitches, I can't stand Stanley! And I'm gonna say, man, the first game of the NBA season that you played Philadelphia, it wasn't the first game, but the first meeting between you guys. When Ben Simmons dropped a triple-double on your bitch ass. Yeah, I knew something was up. Then I called you out on Twitter and you blocked me. Huge disappointment. I'm ready for this guy to just be traded. To be gone! Be gone! That! Alright, that was too much. That was, oh, we got advertisement, guys. Give me 1 second. Okay, next up we have the Golden State Warriors, and it's so far the biggest disappointment. This is honestly not even that bad of one. It's Stephen Curry's ankle injury. Like, yes, ankles, like that's been a history with him having bad ankles and whatnot. Last few seasons it's not really been that big of a deal, but this season it's like, I'm sure it's still bad because it's, ankle injury is never good, but it's probably not as bad as we all think it is. Just for the sense, for one, he's already back from it to making this video. We just dropped 30 points in a game. Also with a game-winning shot, I believe, against the Dallas Mavericks it was. But not to mention, it's you can kind of be more cautious when you are a team like the Golden State Warriors. And it's you can take the night off and you still have a veteran like Shaun Livingston off the bench to start for you. Or you have a guy like, Kevin Durant or Klay Thompson or Draymond Green to pick up the slack. So, yeah, it's disappointing, but it's not really that bad. All right, next we got the Houston Rockets. James Harden's hammy. Yes, he's out for the next 2 weeks, of course, which really opens up the MVP race because I feel like when it comes to the MVP and James Harden, he's kind of cursed in a sense because it's every year it's well, James Harden probably could have won it, but he never ends up winning it. And finally, this season, he was really yeah, James Harden is going to win this thing. But, being out for 2 weeks and who knows how long it's going to take for him to get back to 100%. Yeah, that can definitely kill his MVP chances. I really do hope he wins one, though. He really does deserve it. Indiana Pacers. We got Al Jefferson. Okay, I mean, he's 33 years old. It's getting what, $10 million for the next 2 or 3 seasons. I mean, I really don't know what you guys expected from Al Jefferson as far as this team goes. Just because, you already have Miles Turner out there who was starting at center. For a backup center, I don't think Al Jefferson does that bad of a job. Of course, I don't watch every single Pacers game, but the game against the Pistons I was watching, he was actually dominating us. But yeah, he's offensive-oriented big man that, has a little bit of a mid-range game, not going to shoot the 3-ball or anything. Kind of a more traditional center, I would say, as far as offense goes. So I'm not really sure what people were expecting from him. Los Angeles Clippers, pick an injury. Any injury, yes. But at the same time, when you go ahead and, sign Blake Griffin to a max contract who is notorious for getting a bad injury every single season, or you give that kind of money to Danilo Gallinari, who is notorious for getting a bad injury every single season, what can the team expect? It's just, that's not a disappointment. That's just stupidness as far as, managing your money and managing your team and managing, salaries. That just didn't make much sense for this team to do. All right, next up we have Lonzo Ball. It's hard to say he's a disappointment just because, yeah, I know as far as, his field goal percentage, he was, I don't know how it's been as of late. I know for a while that he was literally, last place in the NBA in, field goal percentage for, the amount of shots he took. But, I think a lot of that comes down to LeVar Ball really talking his son up and everything, saying, yeah, this is the next superstar. Not to mention Kyle Kuzma has been the better rookie on the team. So, unless you were expecting him to average, 30 points and 15 assists and 10 rebounds, I can't say it's a disappointment. He's only 19 years of age, so it's he's starting on an NBA team. I mean, that's going to be a good, building block for the future in his game altogether. So, all right, next we got the Memphis Grizzlies. the Marcus Gasol and David Fizdale couldn't coexist. Yeah, it pretty much left like the GM in a tough spot of deciding between, you know, Fizdale or Marcus Gasol, which doesn't make much sense because it sounds like they are probably going to be end up trading Marcus Gasol. I would not be surprised if he's gone by the trade deadline, if not this offseason for sure. So why give away, or, you know, I don't want to say give away, but why fire a coach who was doing a pretty solid job with what he had? I feel like he could have really led this team into a solid rebuild, and it would have been like a good veteran presence to have. So yeah, it did not really make much sense to me on that one. Miami Heat, Dion Waiters, after last season. Yeah, that's what happens. Contract year. Dion Waiters was going absolutely off, man. Like, this dude was playing like one of the top shooting guards in the NBA. Over the season, got that $4 million contract. And since then, the man got paid. He's good to go. That's disappointing. Milwaukee Bucks, Jason Kidd. Okay, this I'm about to read about a little bit over here. Giannis is an MVP candidate. Chris Middleton is playing like an all-star. So why are they hovering over, just over 500? You know, okay, it says they are having kind of, wait, the Bucks are towards the bottom of the league in defensive rating, and there's no reason they should be giving the length and athleticism on their roster. Yeah, I will say to an extent that's coaching. I guess if you want to blame Jason Kidd on that. But realistically, it's like, yeah, the coach can like draw up defensive schemes and everything, but the players are the ones that play the game. So I feel like coaches are used as scapegoats a little bit too much, and I feel like this is probably one of those cases. All right, we got Minnesota Timberwolves defense. Well, I'm going to say when Tom Thibodeau goes out there and plays every single one of his players freaking 57,000 minutes a game, yeah, they're probably going to be a little tired to play some defense out there. Karl-Anthony Towns, in his early career, has not really been a great defender. So, I mean, I guess that does, sort of make sense. Jimmy Buckets, he was always been a good defender, so I really don't know what's going on with that. Taj Gibson, maybe just age is getting out of sight at this point. I know he's not like extremely old, but I believe he's like 31 or 32. So at this point, you can start seeing like a decrease in your physical, abilities as a player. And Taj Gibson, like, he's never been like extremely like super athletic. I mean, always respectable, but after a bit, it's like that kind of starts tearing on you a bit. All right, next we got to the Pelicans with Demarcus Cousins. What? Like Demarcus, I don't know if it's so much. Wait, with Anthony Davis on the court, the team has been plus 12.7 with Cousins. They've been minus 0.8. Now, I know the numbers he's been putting up have been pretty damn impressive. Like, at least last time I checked, I don't know if this should be, like, the biggest disappointment should be, like, Demarcus Cousins. I think this is more leaning towards Demarcus Cousins and Anthony Davis duo. Like, I just feel like that was just too much, like, front court talent altogether in an NBA that's dominated by guards. All right, for number 21, we have the New York Knicks. Their biggest disappointment is Kristaps Porzingis. So as far as my NBA starters go, I was kind of feeling like Joel Embiid should probably be the starting center, and that's not just because like Kristaps has been playing bad, because Kristaps has been playing good, and I feel like if Kristaps was healthy for the entire like NBA season up to this point, he would definitely like hand down, man down, be the starting center for the All-Star team. But yeah, it's just like injuries have been like killing him, and the thing about that is it's scary when you get those 7'3" type of players out there, those really tall guys that start having injuries like this, just because it makes me think of Yao Ming. Like Yao Ming is a player who was fantastic. I mean, he was a little bit taller than Porzingis. He was like 7'5", 7'6", but a lot of his game was in the post, where a guy like Porzingis can take you off the dribble. So being that tall, you don't really know what kind of toll that has on his body. I just hope Porzingis is not like a victim of the injury bug, because I really want to see what this man could be throughout his whole entire NBA career, and hopefully a long one for him too. OKC Thunder, the Big Three's clutch time disaster. Yeah, I mean, it's another case of what did you expect. Look at this team, guys. Like, this is a team full of players that all want to be the man. And that's not bad. It's just not a good fit. Melo wants to be the man. Russell Westbrook wants to be the man. Paul George wants to be the man. So why are they all grouped up and bunched up on one team? It just, I don't know. That is disappointing, because I know like when this whole Melo trade went down, I was a little skeptical about it. I was like, okay, this is cool and everything. But I was really curious what a team of just Russell Westbrook and Paul George could have done, because it kind of reminded me of like old school Russell Westbrook and Kevin Durant in a sense. But yeah, so I don't know, man. Okay, Orlando Magic, Bismack Biyombo. I call this dude Bitch Mac Ass Biyombo. I don't think that's what I call him, but something like that. Bitch Ass Contract Biyombo. Because yeah, this dude had literally, guys, listen up, man. Get closer to your headphones or whatever you're listening to, man. This dude had one good playoff series for the Toronto Raptors, and this man got $17 million for like 4 or 5 seasons. Next. I'm next. All right, next we got Philadelphia 76ers, the Markelle Fultz saga. I mean, yeah, what I don't like about this whole situation right here with Markelle Fultz is that it could have went a lot easier if it wasn't for the front office of the 76ers trying to pretty much save face when it comes to an injury. Because I'm going to tell you guys exactly what happened. Markelle Fultz, probably when he was drafted, going into like the workouts and the first practice with the team, probably was having shoulder issues. And he probably told the coach, or he probably told the GM, and they probably said, Markelle, like our last 2 #1 draft picks, I mean, you look at Ben Simmons or go back to Joel Embiid, they've had injuries also, and people were like laughing at us about it. So just play through it. You'll be good to go. We don't want to be embarrassed by drafting another guy that has an injury, is out for a season. So they made him play through the shoulder injury, screwed up his shoulder even more. And, well, the rest is history, right? I mean, I'm sure he will be fine and everything, but there's been, like, highlights or footage of him shooting a basketball in practice, still with his ugly-looking jump shot. Like, it used to be pretty, but he's still doing it for the shoulder purposes. So, yeah, it's not really... I'm more disappointed in how this whole situation was handled. All right, Phoenix Suns, the Eric Bledsoe trade. I mean, you guys got what? You got Greg Monroe, who will probably be gone after the season. And I believe, yeah, it says you got 2 heavily protected draft picks from Milwaukee. Yeah, that is an L. That definitely is an L. I mean, at the same time, though, it did help you guys finally, like, fully commit to a rebuild. You have Devin Booker, who is only, I believe, 22 at this point. So it's like, hopefully those draft picks work out, because that's only fair, right? That they get the draft picks out of it at least. But more so, you just got the guy off the team. I don't know what his contract was like. I don't know if he was on like a 2 or 3 year deal, so that's at least money freed up going forward and everything like that. But yeah, I definitely understand where a Suns fan would come from, thinking that. Portland Trailblazers, Yusuf Nurkic. So I was really expecting this guy to make a name for, most improved player this year. It seems like he's not quite there yet. And it seems like, the thing that's kind of sad about the situation is, like, Nurkic, I still think has that potential to be a good center in the NBA, just his style of play and everything like that. But it seems like he's just like a few years behind Damian Lillard and CJ McCollum as far as development, where it's like those guys are like ready to win now. Like, yo, let's go for it. You need to be that third piece, where Nurkic is just not quite there yet. So in a few seasons when he is there, well, at that point, Damian Lillard and CJ McCollum are both going to be older at that point and maybe fed up with the whole situation of the Trailblazers and maybe seeking different teams. All right, Sacramento Kings, George Hill. I mean, you gave the guy, he was what, like 31, you gave him a 2-year, what was it, like $39 million contract, and you expected him to be, like, happy because, like, yeah, the money's nice. No, 3-year, $57 million, even more ridiculous. Yeah, since last year he had a career-high 17 points and 4 assists, but it's like, he wasn't going to be happy going on to a team that, like, was in complete rebuild mode. Like, this team was not really going to do much this season, and I don't understand why you throw that type of money at this guy right here, just because, like, this team should have just gave, like, the team to De'Aaron Fox. It was like, yo, man, you are going to start just like Lonzo Ball does on the Lakers. We might take some L's, but that's okay. Like, you're going to get some miles under you, and by the time you're ready to go to the NBA and things, we might have a few more, draft picks and stuff like that. So they just kind of locked up this dude right here, and he's just not really worth it. Not that he's a bad player. He's just in a wrong team. Like, he would definitely... Man, I would love if he went back to the San Antonio Spurs. That would be absolutely fantastic. He's like the point guard they need. Next up, San Antonio Spurs. We got the Kawhi Leonard injury. Yeah, this is going back to last season, too. You can blame Zaza, Hall of Fame ankle breaker, Pachulia on that one. All I can say is, like, Kawhi Leonard, he is starting to play more and stuff, but I really do hope that he gets back to that MVP candidate player that he was last season. So that is very disappointing. No really other way to put it. I hate when seeing superstars go down with injuries. And we got the Toronto Raptors, Norman Powell. So... I was thinking about the Toronto Raptors the other day, and that's literally all they need, is a small forward that can be consistent, man. And it looks like he lost the starting role to OG Anunoby. I've heard pretty good things about him out there. But, I was just thinking, like, what if, like, the Raptors had a team like, or I had, like, a player like Kawhi Leonard or a Paul George at the small forward position? They would be absolutely unstoppable, because you already got, like, the great point guard in Kyle Lowry. DeMar DeRozan's playing, like, one of the best shooting guards in the NBA. Power forward, you have Serge Ibaka, who is, like, not as good as he once was, but still respectable at the power forward position. And you got Valanciunas, who can at least, like, do some things out there. It just seems to be that small forward position's always been the big L for them. And I think this is the final team right here, guys. We got there might be one more after this. Utah Jazz, the Salt Lake City injury bug. So, yeah, it's like, yeah, they lost Dante Exum, Rodney Hood, who was supposed to be, like, the replacement for Gordon Hayward. As we all know, it's going to be Donovan Mitchell now. Joe Johnson's out. And, of course, you got Rudy Gobert that got injured also. Yeah, I mean, that team, I am very intrigued what that team is going to look like when they're fully healthy out there. Just because, like, well, Donovan Mitchell, I should say, just, like, balling out like a superstar. So, yeah, I'm kind of curious what that team will do, but disappointing injuries nonetheless. And Okay, that's the end of it, guys. Anyway, man, hope you guys all enjoyed this video. If you guys ever come across articles or stuff like this that you want me to do, these type of slideshows, you know, things like that, send them to me, guys, on Twitter at CrispyFlakes2K. I definitely love doing these just because, like, it's a very, like, chill, relaxed way for you guys to sit back and listen to me talk about basketball and for me to just talk about basketball in general. Anyway, guys, be sure to drop that like, subscribe if you are new to my channel, and peace out, my friends.